This was not the plan. I had no intention to get on live and do a video with you, but I was literally woken up in the middle of the night praying for the Rio Grande Valley and praying for you and praying for the harvest and praying for this million souls that we know that the Lord is breathing on. A million souls will be swept into the kingdom from Brownsville to Laredo, from both sides of the river. And I was woken up from a sleep just in a deep intercession for these loved ones. These are your sons and your daughters and your mothers and your fathers, your sisters and your brothers. When we talk about this million soul harvest, these are people that we love. These are people that we know. And um, I just want to stir your faith in the middle of the night. It is 3 o'clock in the morning. And honestly, I cannot believe I'm even making this video. But I just feel like the Lord won't let me rest. He won't let me rest until I stir your faith to believe for these ones that you love to be brought into the harvest. You know, I was telling this story at a church I spoke at this past Sunday about how I came into the kingdom. And it was my mom and my brothers and my sisters. Um, I was so trapped in sin. I was so trapped in darkness. And of course, my mom didn't really know what was going on. But you know, as moms, we know in the spirit. We know when our kids are in darkness, and without knowing, she knew. And my family, they began to do a fast. They decided to fast for 7 days. They didn't tell me about it. It wasn't through convincing me to turn away from sin. It was just they decided to pick up another spiritual weapon called fasting. And they began to pray together. I lived in Washington, D.C. They were in Orlando, and they began to pray and fast for my soul. And in 1 week's time, God did such a work, supernatural work in my heart, that by the end of the week, not only had I given my life to the Lord with no one speaking to me about the kingdom, but I had given my life to the Lord. I called my mom and said, "You've got to come get me out of this city." And it started my whole new life in God. I feel compelled to stir your faith right now at 3 a.m. to believe for your families, to contend for your families. We can't just kind of hope they trickle into the stadium. We need to pray and fast for them to have a breakthrough in God. Fasting is one of those weapons that breaks the yoke of bondage over our lives. It's one of those weapons that goes straight for the jugular of the enemy. I'm telling you, all of hell trembles when we add fasting to our prayer life. And so as I was speaking even Sunday, I was saying, how many of you have loved ones trapped in darkness? And you've talked to them, you've shared with them, you've said all there is to say. There's no more words. Now we need to pray and fast. And I just want to encourage you. Maybe you're a mom or dad. I don't know. You're awake at 3 a.m. I want to encourage you. Maybe you're up because you're worried about your children. I want to encourage you that this is not over, that your son and or daughter, your loved one, they are not so far gone that the love of God cannot reach where they are. But we need to pray and fast. I've been fasting for the Rio Grande Valley since December. I'm going to keep fasting, but I want to encourage you not only to pray for those people in your life, but if you would add fasting, just push away from the table, you will be surprised at the amount of supernatural shifting that happens in their lives. I really believe it. I saw as I was waking up just your loved ones hanging in the balance. And I wanted to release new hope over you that this is not impossible. Your family is not so far gone. This is not impossible for God. It is not impossible. I want to encourage you to keep praying and to join the Lord. Join us. We're going to fast with you. Fast for your friends, for your family, for your loved ones, and then begin to open your mouth and draw them with you. I just see Psalm 126 over you, that though we sow in tears, many times when we're praying for people we love, I mean, we're sowing in tears. We're crying out for them. We're entering in almost to the feeling that they're in of desperation. I want to encourage you that if we sow in tears, the word says that we will reap in joy. We will carry the sheaves of harvest. This is like carrying your loved ones in with you with shouts of joy. God is going to do this. He loves you. He loves your family. He loves the valley. These million souls aren't just somebody strangers over here. They are people that you know, people that you love, people that you work with, people who you call mom and dad. And so I just want to release new hope over you to believe, that this harvest includes your family, to believe that this harvest includes people that you love. And I also want to pray for you to receive a grace to fast and pray over these days as we lead into the stadium event, that you would have a grace on your life to agree with God. So I'm going to release that over you right here. Father, I pray right now that you would release the grace to fast, to push away from the table. I ask, God, that you would put this weapon, the spiritual weapon, into the hands of the valley, and that God, in that place of contending with you, agreeing with you, prophesying with you, and fasting with you, that God, in that place, there would be such a supernatural breakthrough over the Rio Grande Valley. I pray that there is no place safe from the love of God in the Rio Grande Valley. It doesn't matter what kind of darkness is over your family. There is no place safe from the love of God. Father, release this grace to fast and agree with you. Release a grace over us to believe for the harvest. Release a grace over us to walk in hope. Release a grace over us, God, to carry the sheaves of harvest with us. In Jesus' name. This is getting close. As we get closer to the event, I'm more and more stirred to pray. And I believe with all my heart, God's eyes are on the valley. His eyes are on your family right now. And we should be looking and expecting for him to answer in supernatural ways. I love you guys, and I will see you soon at Fill the Bowls on February 29th, Saturday, from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. Bring the sheaves of harvest with you into that stadium, and let's see what God does. I'll see you soon.